Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hey, Dills and Heartless. This is Gorkies from Australia. I've been playing RuneScape since around 2003, and I've been listening to the podcast for around 2 or so years now. My unpopular opinion about RuneScape, or old school RuneScape, is a really simple one, and it's that training agility is actually fun. Great work with the podcast. Love it all, and can't wait for new episodes. Bye.
Welcome to episode 212 of the Wilderness Podcast. I am Dills, and back from his little dirt bike escapade, Heartless.
Bro, after you just have to ditch me and then you call me out for leaving? My God, the people think I'm dirt bike crazy. I've been dirt biking once in like 8 years. I'm glad to be back from the wild mountains dirt biking, you know.
Yeah, it was I had to put the kid to bed. Anyways, and we couldn't link up. But when I was in school, when I was younger, I kind of grew up in the boonies a little bit. But we always had like everyone wore like the Fox clothing, the dirt biking gear.
Yeah.
And like, but not many people dirt bike, but everyone wore it.
Me too. When I was a kid, a lot of people like wore those kind of shirts, like the jerseys, the racing jerseys. They're cool. I mean,
I don't see them anymore.
Some kids still wear them. You still like occasionally see them. They're not as big though as they used to be, I don't think.
Yeah, it's like Monster Energy now. That's what it's all about. Anywho, this week is the week that we got an update. We got the Giants. I shouldn't say it like that. The way I say it is as if we're not getting that many updates. 2022 has been pretty decent, especially compared to 2020 and 2021. But we got the Giants Foundry was released, and with it came a quest. The Sleeping Giant. It's a new smithing mini game. Mini game is basically what they call anything that's an activity. So, but that came out and pretty positive. Nothing crazy. It's not Guardians of the Rift, but people are happy with it. But that is about it. But that's like the major piece of news that we got this week. Sometimes we get a few dev blogs talking about like what to expect next week, but this seems to be just it. Heartless, how's your week been?
I mentioned we never got to it, but I took the children on a field trip.
Oh yeah, the goats, right?
Yeah. So we went to this place called Beacon Hill Park, which is basically a large park in the middle of the city, or like down near the water in where I live in Victoria. And it's a gorgeous place, and they have a petting zoo there. It's basically just full of farm animals, chickens, pigs. They have goats, baby goats, sort of like of all sizes goats. But they're all, I mean, like the biggest ones are pretty small. And then they've got alpacas, just like pretty common things you'd see. Anyways, we got there early. We took the school bus. Their minds were blown at the school bus. They're 6 or 7, some of them. So they've never ridden a school bus in their life because of COVID.
Oh,
so I think there were like 2 kids in the class that had ridden a school bus.
I didn't even think about that. It's so interesting.
When you're a little child, the things that you are most excited about are things like fire engines, garbage trucks, all of these like large vehicles that you see in your day-to-day life as you're really young, police cars, all these things that you see, you're like, wow, those are really cool. I see them sometimes, but not too often. Mm-hmm. School buses are another one of those things the kids just like get amped up about. So
wow.
Anyways, we had a good time.
That's sweet.
It was about a 35-minute drive into town, so it was pretty nice. I had the school bus all to ourselves. They were really well behaved. And then we watched the goats. They had like this little stampedes. Basically, they chased them from the barn into the pen where they get fed. So they're all just booking it. And we just lined up and got to watch them. It was fun, man. It was a really good time. And then they got to pet them. And then we toured around the farm and made sure we saw all the different types of animals. It was a good time. So that was the morning, and then in the afternoon we went for a walk. There are a lot of ducks in this park, so there's a lot of like duck shit everywhere. So you have to be a little careful about where you plant down.
Kids are picking it up and just whipping it at each other.
I mean, there are like little ponds all over the place and lots of flowers and stuff. So we tried to stay away from the ponds. And the geese, the Canada geese, they can be pretty aggressive.
Oh, they're the worst
as well. So you know it. And so we did bring some duck feed to feed them with, and like the geese just go and they just get in there and just shove out all the little ducks, and you can see the little ducks just trying to wait on the side.
They're awful. Yep.
Yeah. So we tried to feed them, but the Canada geese were like hissing and shit. So I was like, I don't really want to lose a kid to the water. So I ended up pulling them back, and then we went over to the park, and I found this really nice patch of grass. We had our lunch, and then they just played on the park for the rest of the afternoon. We were there for about 3 hours total, so it was a really fun trip.
Awesome. That's sweet. How much do you enjoy field trips?
I love them.
Yeah.
They can be a bit of a logistical nightmare at times, and you really there's a lot of work that goes into making sure you got enough people coming with you. I went to the park to like check out our route beforehand, so there is a lot of like groundwork you have to lay, but the day went really smooth. And I mean, going to the park is a pretty low-key field trip. I think I've talked about some like intense field trips before that I've been on when I was a kid that obviously hadn't been planned out super well. When it's dangerous, it can be stressful, but for like low risk activities, yeah, I really like field trips. Like going to the pool and letting the kids swim and stuff. It's always fun to see them have that experience. And dude, on the bus home, I'd say about half of them were asleep.
Nice.
It was hilarious.
Nice.
Yeah, they were passed out. So, and then yeah, it was a hot day. A lot of them were tired and napping in the class when we got back. We were only there for about 10 minutes before they had to leave. It was a good day.
That's awesome. I miss field trips. I wish my job had like, I guess we kind of have field trips. I have like a cruise we're going to next month, but like it's not really a cruise. It's just like a boat that's just gonna putt around Toronto. I don't know what they're gonna show us, but whatever, we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's something's different when you're a kid, right?
Yeah, it's all like so magic. Like you mentioned, all these like, if a machine is really, all it has to be is really big, and it's like the coolest thing. It doesn't even have to be a machine. I used to play baseball, and every year you got to like customize your own baseball card. I don't know why, but you did. It was like a thing you would do. I wish I could find them. They're gone now, but I remember looking back on them. And my first baseball card, it would ask you, what do you want to do? What do you want to be when you're older? And I wanted to be a bag boy at a grocery store. Like I aspired for a lot, but I remember I used to get my parents told me I used to get so thrilled to see the kid in high school bagging the fruit and stuff at the grocery store. I don't know why that like stood out.
You just love it because it's part of your life, right? And you just think it's so cool. Like being a garbage man or working for the police or a firefighter, whatever it is. They're always pretty sought after jobs for those 6-year-olds because that's really all they know, right? But yeah, it was a good day, and it's those days that make the job, really fun. So
that's awesome. Did you have any like child freakouts? The reason I ask is because I remember I went to a petting zoo. It was a farm. I went to a petting farm. It was called Puck's Farm, and I remember they were like milking a cow, and we all got to do it with like the metal bucket. And for some reason, it scared me. So when it was my turn, I started crying. I really got freaked out by having to milk a cow for some reason.
Jeez, I would be freaking out if I had to milk a cow. Oh my God. No, there was no freakouts. Like there is a lot of kids that can freak out in my class. I had a lot of help. I had some parent volunteers. I had a couple like education assistants there to help me with the kids that, have autism or whatever. So yeah, it was a good day. I had a lot of support and everything went relatively smoothly. So
that's awesome. Do you do it on like a Friday, like end the week off?
This was on, it was a short week. We ended up going on a Wednesday, just middle of the week.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually you would go on a Friday, but sometimes they can be burnt out by Friday.
Fair. True. Right.
So I thought middle of the week, lots of energy. And this was their first big field trip in school. So I wanted to make it a good one.
That's awesome.
We have another one, actually. We're going to the beach for a whole day in a couple weeks. So I just get to go and chill at the beach.
Yeah, that's wicked.
And I got an ice cream truck to come down.
Oh, I remember you've talked about this ice cream truck. That seems like a fan favorite.
It did not work last year because they were booked. So this year I booked them so they could come down. And I just blew the rest of my class budget because I have some money left and it just disappears from the parents' funds. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna send it on an ice cream truck. So I'll get a little soft serve in the afternoon. But that's gonna be a big day. But being in the sun all day is quite tiring.
Yeah, it could be a lot.
I had a lot of tired kids, and a lot of parents were like, man, they just fell asleep when they got home. I was like, yep, you're welcome.
Easy. Nice.
Yeah, but overall it was pretty good.
That is pretty sweet. I'm surprised you didn't bring them to like the library so they could all watch you play RuneScape. Come on, kids, huddle around.
And watch me do this solo chambers.
Yeah. We got a quiz on it afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the kid I helped. But you watched me do a Zolver kill last year. Do you remember that story?
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was a kid having a bad day, and I was just like escaping on my phone, and he came into my class, and he's like, "Oh, he's upset and stuff." And I was like, oh, "Okay, just come over here, grab your lunch, and calm down." So he started eating a snack, and then he's like, "What are you up to?" And I said, "Oh, I'm just playing a quick game on my phone while I was eating my snack." I was like, "You want to watch?" And he came over while he was eating. And I was like killing a spore or something.
Nice. Now he's hooked.
And then we did that, and I said, "Yo, should we kill something else?" He's like, "Yeah." Then we went and killed Zolra.
That's awesome.
So that was a good time.
And that kid grew up to be Zezma.
If only one ticking left and right. Yeah. No, he was a nice kid. So
awesome stuff.
Yeah, that was good. So week. Like real life was a lot of fun, and then in game I didn't get up too much. I didn't get to play too much. It's been busy at work, so I did do a few nightmare kills, and I got the parasitic egg, so I could turn my nightmare pet into that horrific looking bug. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I got it. That was my first unique. Super lucky. I'm a pet. Pet luck is nuts on my account.
Do you like the parasitic egg? Because
like I think it's disgusting looking, but it's also, in a way, it's so cool because it's so hideous.
Like a good disgusting.
Yeah, it's also very rare. Like you don't see it very often. Like obviously, if you're at the top bank and like Chambers Bank, you'll see it. But if you're just like a casual player, it's not a pet you come across very much. Because it's a relatively tricky boss to get into, Nightmare. And then it's also a very high dropper. The pet's actually 1 in 1,400, which is a lot of hours. So you don't come across it too often. So yeah. It's pretty cool. So I like to break it out like fishing. So I already got like a few people, what the fuck is that thing? Because it's truly horrifying. Like the grandma's face on the bug.
Yeah. For people who don't know, it looks like a fly or a beetle, and then it's got like an old lady's face. Well, it's the nightmare's face.
Yeah, it's the stuff of nightmares for sure.
It's quite fitting. I actually learned, I might have been last week, but so the Nightmare of Ashiyama, it's this boss that came out. When was it? In 2020, I think it was. Anyways, it's kind of a cool boss, and it's got like a cool theme around it with these sleepwalkers. And one thing I really like about it, we don't actually see a whole lot of this in the game, and I wish we saw more of it, but people travel from all of Mauritania. There'll be like a sleepwalker will spawn, and they'll just start walking towards where the nightmare boss is. I'm not sure exactly the range, but I've noticed them walking, and then I saw people talking about it on Twitter, or maybe it was Reddit, about how it's cool that they'll come from all over. So I don't know where they're coming from, but you'll just see them walking towards Slep, which is the city. Where's it? Sleep. Whatever. Sleep. It's walking to that town where the Nightmare of Ashiyama is, which is really cool. But what I learned last week was that Ashiyama is an island that's a part of this whole entire region in the game that we don't really have access to yet on old school RuneScape, called the Eastern Lands or the Eastern Realms, but also known as the Washenko Isles, which is like a bunch of different islands. There's like a whole whack of them. And I was just scrolling through the wiki, reading about the Nightmare of Ashiyama when I came across this like piece of lore, which is really cool. But then what I do is I go to RuneScape 3 to see if they have this, and they do have the Washenko Isles, but it's not in the game either. They have this whole port system where you can run your own port and send ships off to go do stuff for you. And they visit some of these islands, but there is like 30 different islands, and there's like different groupings. There's the Ark, the Skull, the Hook, the Scythe, the Bull, the Pincers. the loop and the shield, and these are all groups of islands, and there's like each one has like 5 to 8. Anyways, I thought it was really cool, and I love that there's this like piece of the game that maybe someday in the future we'll actually get into the game.
Yeah, islands are a good way to expand the game because I mean you just kind of slap them down wherever, right, and then add a transport.
Yeah, super easy. Yeah, that's the thing. Once they flesh out, it's just the desert now, right? In old school RuneScape, once they flesh out, I'm looking at the map now. There's 2 places on the desert. There's a place to the far east and then the southwest. And once those are done, the entire mainland of Gielinor is finished. Then we have Zaya, and then we have a bunch of islands as well. But
I mean, yeah, Zaya has a lot of potential, but it's already kind of big and open.
Yeah,
so they got to be careful with Zaya.
Indeed. Anyways, it's cool.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. My internet was really bad early in the week too, so I was actually charging glories to try and get the Amulet of Eternal Glory, which is like some of you guys are gonna think this is psycho stuff, but I mean, I really like clue scrolls, and Eternal Glory would just be like a tiny quality of life upgrade. So I'm going for that on the side casually. You just basically have to dump 1 charge from each glory. So I just teleport to Granja 28 times and then tele out to the wilderness to the obelisk. When you have the elite diary, you have infinite tellies to it. And then you charge the glories so that you get 28 rolls at the Eternal Glory. And then you just run up to the obelisk and teleport to the low level wildy and then just do it again. You can do about 800 an hour.
Jesus.
And it's 1 in 25k.
There it is, 1 in 25k. Which, yeah. So you charge your glories at the, what was it called? The something Fountain of Ruin.
It's called the Fountain of Ruin. Yeah, the obelisk up there.
And it's a 1 in 25,000 chance of getting the Eternal Glory, which gives you unlimited teleports. It's worth 50 mil. Wow.
Yeah, it's 50 mil. It's a pretty niche item. I think I'd like one, so why not? I'm about halfway through. I have like 12k charged now, so I'm about halfway there.
Something has caused the glory to go from 35 mil to 58 mil since January.
I blame Bodhi.
What did he do?
I blame him for a lot of things, but he basically he's the I love him, so we'll first start with that. I think he's a great content creator.
He's a streamer and YouTuber, yeah. Would you say he's like one of the most popular? He is the most popular streamer.
Yeah, he is by quite a huge margin, actually. Like I think almost 5 times or almost 10 times bigger than the next biggest, which would maybe be.
He took a break from streaming, and the RuneScape category, old school RuneScape category, like the viewership was down from like 10,000 down to like 2,000, and I was surprised to see like how little people were actually watching RuneScape streamers.
Yeah, I the biggest now is probably It's Will, and he pulls like just over 1,000 viewers. So Bodhi was pulling like 10k a day when he was doing his hardcore stuff. I mean, maybe there's someone a little bigger than Will, but I think he's up there. That's about as high as you'll see really in old school these days.
Very cool. Well, interesting.
But anyways, Bodhi was basically, instead of doing hardcores, which he's done for years and years, he's switched over to this like main only collection log thing where he's trying to like max out the collection log. So he's really started that trend, and since he was rather sick in real life, or like going through some health issues, he was spending a lot of time in bed. So he was grinding, like all the stupid shit on the collection log.
Right. There's a bunch. Yep.
Like Trouble Brewing, he's completed like all the mini game stuff he was grinding. So yeah, I think that he's hugely impacted like the price of eclectic implings and other implings.
Why is that? Is it because he's buying so many, or people?
Yeah, because in his videos, he's like going for collection log slots, and it's like kind of a new way to think about being a main. So instead of just grinding for money and stuff, he's going for collection logs and then spending all the money he gets on third age items.
And I bet you there's a lot of people who are also watching him do this, and they're like, I'm going to go for the glory as well, or whatever.
There's a lot of like end game mains who like burn out, like their motivation drops. For whatever reason, I totally understand, because the game can kind of feel cyclical in the end game. Like irons will also burn, but more because like they're not getting the drops, or they're running out of supplies. But mains kind of like can get so rich that it can get boring, and then they start going for things like speed runs or this or that. So this is just another way to engage with the game people had already been doing it, but him being like the biggest content creator, going out there and saying, "Oh, this is what I'm doing, and this is how I'm spending all my money on these third age things." People are kind of just copying him, which is totally fair. So he's influenced like the price of gourmet imps. And I can't remember the point, but there was something that we were talking about that have gone up in price.
The glory went from 20 mil, like almost doubled.
Because he's doing a shit ton of clue scrolls. The Eternal Glory is like really, really good if you're sending clues. So I think that's why it's so expensive. I mean, it's always been about 30 mil just because it's rare. You get no XP and it's not great money. But I mean, these days it's probably okay to go for one,
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's almost 60 mil. It's super rare, but I love what Jagex has kind of done over the years. And I know when we first started recording podcasts together, I think there was like an ongoing topic of like me being burnt out because I was like always grinding money. And which is like, that's what a lot of mains fall into, which you already mentioned. Because at the end, you just need money. Whereas like irons, they need specific items. So they're always grinding different bosses because there's always an item on some boss table that you need. So you always have a reason to do like every piece of content. But they came out with this collection log, and it came out a while ago, but it was this book, and you couldn't really do much with it except for you could look at the book and see what items you needed. And it's like, so whenever you obtain a new unique item for the first time, it would show up in your collection log. Then eventually they added it into like a menu, so then you didn't need to have a physical book to look at. You could just look at somewhere in one of the tabs and be like, oh, look it, I have 500 out of 1,400 items collected. But then they went ahead and they've added this broadcast you can turn on for your clan. And we have it for our in-game clan. And I know that's caused some people to be motivated for it too, but it really has caused like me to, I haven't focused on grinding out money in a long time because I like to grind out collection log stuff now. So I'll just grind out a boss instead of me thinking like, oh my God, it has so little money value behind it. I'm like, I'll
yeah, it's not about that, right? It's about like completing this collectionist thing now, which is kind of almost like revolutionized the way mains think about the game, which is good.
And another thing they did,
it's just another interesting way to engage with all of the content. So
yeah,
I'm really happy that people are catching on, and obviously Bodhi jumping on board with it makes, and him being such like an intense Iron Man guy, like he was all about hardcores. He had some of the sickest hardcores you'll ever see. Mm-hmm. And just died to DCs or whatever.
That's so annoying. Yep. And then
it's hard to watch.
A lot of these,
and he's such a good player.
Mm-hmm.
And now that he's doing this, it's maybe also some people are like, it's confirmation that what they're doing is like cool or trendy or whatever it is. Like, it's just another way to engage with the game, and I think it's really good. So yeah, I blame him for a lot of price increases.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, and not just the collection log, but even they added the combat tasks. It's not quite the same, but it's still, if you're grinding out a boss, a lot of the times I'll look at what tasks can I try to complete while I'm doing this boss, and I might not ever complete them, but you have a reason.
Yeah, just another way for like end game players to engage with or late game players to engage with the content.
Yeah, these two choices they've made, which are like kind of small, sort of, really help someone get their mind off grinding for money and grind for items or whatever it is, and it's very fun.
Because grinding for money is the road to quitting. That's the path to the dark side.
Yeah.
Which the dark side could also be considered Iron Man mode, because many people turn to the dark side when they start grinding for money on their main. I did that. Like, I lost motivation because my next upgrade was like 400 mil or something. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't do 500 hours of forecast to get my next upgrade.
Yeah, it boils down to Vorkath or like maybe rating. Rating's fun though, so we'll not mention that one.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I love this game, so fuck it, I'm just gonna make an Iron Man now, and I did it, and obviously I don't regret it, but it took a lot of time to get to where I am. But for people that are like, maybe they don't have that time, or they don't really want to change, or they really like their main still, this is just another cool way to engage with everything the game has to offer.
Yeah, some people get attached to their accounts. Like for me, I'm really attached to mine, and anything to make a number go up one more time.
You got like 15, so
I know, just one of them. I got an account for whatever I'm feeling. I mean, actually, I'm grinding agility. It's funny we mentioned this. I'm grinding agility, which is when we record these podcasts, I always train agility because I hate agility, but AFK enough that I can train it in the background, and eventually I'll get to like 92 so I can do Sepulcher. But I'm doing the Ape Atoll course because I need to get the collection log items from that, the monkey backpacks. I got my Pure also splashing because I need to get 95 mage so that I can go finally do Fire Surge when I go PKing on it. Anyways, that's what I got going on in the background.
Anyways, this all stemmed from me grinding for that Eternal Glory, which is about a 30-hour grind. So like realistically, it's not worth it. But I mean, it'd be cool to have.
Sure.
And I'm gonna play my account for a long time, so why not just go for it? So I've been chipping away at that, and I haven't seen a single person in like 10 hours of doing it.
That's interesting.
Not a soul.
Wow. It's yeah, I'm sometimes surprised by the lack of activity in the wilderness. I mean, you'll bump into it, and I have got PK'd and lost a bunch, but I've done a lot of Rev kills and done a lot of Callisto, and I get complacent quite often because I see so many little people. Like I don't see many people, so my prayer drops because I'm not watching, or I'm.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's
rough out. It's rough out there, dude. Oh, I unlocked 2,200 total worlds. I think like maybe 2 weeks ago now.
That's nice. That's huge.
Man, they are awful. Like they're so laggy.
Yeah, they are pretty laggy,
which is great for wilderness content because you barely have to click.
I was gonna say you don't bump into many people either. Yeah.
No, you really don't. So, I've just been doing the glories on like worlds with actually decent ping because you have to click a fair bit. But yeah. Anyways, those are some of the grinds I've been doing.
Awesome. Well, keeping you busy.
Yeah. What about you, dude? You've been busy.
I think I mentioned everything that I've been up to. Not a whole lot. Just that's, and again, kind of echoing the collection log. I get bored, and I'll just like, I got like before, 2 years ago when we were talking, I'd be kind of bored quite often. I don't know what to do. I don't feel like doing Vorkath. I feel like raiding, but now I just kind of pop over the collection log and I'll go do 10 kills at Zulrah. That's finished. I'll go do some the Abyssal Sire, do 10 kills there. That's finished. I'll go do some Vorkath. I really bounce all over the place depending on what I feel, but it's nice. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, if you're a big collection log junkie and you haven't watched a lot of YouTube, Tedious's Task Iron Man is a really, really good series. So Tedious is definitely worth checking out. He does some cool stuff. Basically, he like rolls a task and he like divides them up in the spreadsheet, and then he has to go and do it until he gets the collection log drop. So it kind of determines his path. And he's made his way through a bunch of the tiers now. He's several years into the project, and he just returned to YouTube. So definitely worth checking out if you are interested in that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. That's great stuff. Anything else you want to mention before we jump into this week's update?
No, let's do it.
All right. So yeah, we mentioned at the beginning, we got the Giant Foundry this week, and with it comes the Sleeping Giants quest. Basically, there's this area. They moved Last Man Standing. When Last Man Standing first came out, it was actually next to the duel arena around Clan Wars. They moved all of that area from the desert to Ferox Enclave in the middle of the wilderness, which is a really cool area. I think we both were really impressed by that when they brought it out.
Yeah, definitely.
They added these hill giants that would walk around. They would have scimitars, and they looked a little bit different than the other hill giants you see. And then eventually, this is where they placed this Giant's Foundry activity along with the quest. So it's where the Last Man Standing in the Clan Wars used to be, called the Giant Plateau. You head on over there, you'll find one hill giant that's doesn't have the attack option. He'll have a strike option instead. So when you go to attack him, you'll start the quest. And he basically needs help creating weapons for his hill giant buddies. I guess the background lore is that hill giant or giants in general used to be a little bit more technically advanced, but they lost all this knowledge or something. I don't really know, but they have all this machinery and they're asking you to help them fix it. So that's basically what you do for the quest. And then once you complete the quest, you get access to the Giant's Foundry. So one thing that I love that they've started doing, it seems, and they did this with Guardians of the Rift, part of the quest is learning how the activity works. And you basically have to solo the activity in order to complete the quest. Like, that's part of it. And that's what you have to do here. So you kind of learn how it all works. You do a very simple sword refinery or whatever. You create a sword for them, and then boom, the quest is done. And then you can continue using the Giant's Foundry for smithing experience and points within this activity.
Have you tried it?
Yeah, I did. The quest itself was pretty short, pretty simple, not terrible. It's a whatever quest, but I like that they've started putting quests as a requirement for a lot of these activities again. Like if Winter Todd and Temperos both came out this year, I think there would be a quest required to get access to it. And I think that's a really good idea. So yeah, I've done the activity itself. When I first saw the stream, I didn't have high hopes for it when they were showing it off. I thought it was gonna be bad. I was a little disappointed. It felt like you're going through a bunch of menus. Luckily, it is better than I thought it would be, but I'm still conflicted on whether or not I think it's fun. But the way it works is you talk to the hill giant dude. His name's Korvac. He tells you, I need a sword, and here's a quick description of the sword. It might say, I need a flat spiked sword. Or it might say, I need a narrow, heavy sword. Whatever. He'll give you 2 descriptive words that he needs made. You go over to this mold, and you put together this 3-piece mold, and you basically look for each section of this mold. You'll have a bunch of different options to choose from. You'll have different stats. And the idea is pick the stats that match the description, whatever has the highest. So you do that, you put the sword together, and then there's 3 machines, and you have 3 different levels of temperature. You have cool, medium, and hot, and each machine requires a different temperature level in order to use the machine. And you do that, there's a progress bar, it fills up, you complete the sword. If you use the machine when you're not in the proper temperature, you'll lose points, which is kind of annoying. So you're constantly having to bounce towards this little lava pool and this waterfall to either heat up your sword or cool it down. And then once it's done, you hand it in, you get some money, and you get some points, and you get some experience. So I've done it, I don't know, I've done maybe 2 hours worth of it. And it's not bad. I don't hate it. I like doing it so far, but I don't know if I'm having fun. RuneScape's a weird game where I think that makes sense for a lot of things. It's not AFK enough that you can like really watch something on the side. There are parts where it's a little bit, where there's some downtime, but you look away for too long and the temperature is going to drop and you're going to damage the sword a bit. It's kind of annoying. You kind of have to always be watching it. It's not engaging enough that you're like, that you have to put on, like I feel like I need to have like a podcast or something going to keep me entertained because it's not engaging enough. It's not like Guardians of the Rift, and it's not like, I don't know, maybe Temperos. I don't know, something about it. I don't know what it is. I can't figure it out. It's like, I like it, but I don't know if I'm having fun with it. I don't know if this is going to be fun long-term either, but.
I feel like I've heard that vibe from a lot of people as well.
People seem to be pretty positive about it. But there are a lot of people that are like, there's something about this.
I mean, the rewards aren't great, but it's also like kind of aimed at like kind of mid-level people. What's the XP per hour like? I haven't done it for the record or the quest. I just haven't had time.
So it looks like it can get anywhere between. It's hard to say. It looks like it can be up to 276K experience an hour, which is obviously quite good, but it's going to be quite expensive as well, because the thing that I forgot to mention at the beginning is when you're making the sword, you need to pick 2 different metals in order to make the sword. And there's a lot of different factors that go into this where it's kind of confusing. And eventually someone's going to break it down. What's the most efficient method to do it? But I've been reading a lot of people saying the most cost effective is steel and mithril. Now I've been doing 14 and 14 bars. You can also do armors too, which could help. You know, if you're an iron and you don't need money, but you need smithing experience. Maybe don't alch your rune. You can use that rune plate body instead to convert it for metal. But there's all these different combinations that factor in. If I do 14 and 14 for like the metal count, I have a 6-step sword to make. But then I get max points and I get max experience. But there's a way to make it so you're doing like 4 steps and it's less experience, less points, but much, much faster. Or at least, much, much faster. Someone's going to break it down to really figure out what the true XP rates are going to be. But it depends a lot on what metals you're using.
Fair enough. I've heard it's like bar efficient. So like for irons, it's efficient for XP. But I mean that's just here. Like I haven't really heard too much about it overall.
I think the idea is that it's not as fast as Blast Furnace, but it's supposed to be more fun. But it is faster than just like making darts or whatever it is you normally would make with bars. So maybe you can go to Blast Furnace. No, see, I guess not a lot of people make anything but gold from Blast Furnace, but I guess
Yeah, I mean, like I do because I make the decent ones like Rune, and I used to make adamant bars. But yeah, I don't know, man. It seems I'm not gonna hate on it because I haven't played it, but I think a lot of people will end up just sticking to gold. And I think the point was that they wanted to move people towards something a little bit more fun than that. But you said you had a good time with it, so I don't know.
Yeah, so like for me, the way I'm looking at it is like I really don't like Blast Furnace. Like I really don't like Blast Furnace. To me, it's like construction. Sure, it's fast, but God, 20 minutes and I'm done. So I could see myself doing Giant's Foundry, grinding out all the rewards. And then one of the rewards we're going to talk about in a minute is a smithing's outfit, which makes smithing bars a little bit better. So I can see myself moving towards, smithing Addy darts or whatever darts because it's kind of AFK afterwards. It's nice to have this option. It's not bad. I didn't I thought I was going to actually hate it. Now it looked like you were navigating all these menus and all these UI options. And I thought I was going to hate it. You know when you do a quest and you have to put together a machine, you have to operate a machine, and it feels like it just feels so outdated. Like it feels like some shit from the early 90s, and it's like all super laggy and unintuitive, and you click too fast, and it, I don't know. You did you fly the balloons for the Enlightened Journey quest?
Yeah, sucked. and then getting the barrel right for Morning's End, one of them. We have to barrel of naphtha, and you have to use the chemistry to heat it up.
Yeah, there's so many.
That one
machines.
sucks.
Yeah, they're just lame. I thought it was gonna be like that. I'm happy that it doesn't feel like that at all. It feels way better than that. So that's what I was expecting. But yeah, let's talk about the rewards because that's what most people care about. So the first thing is I love that they're doing this. They've done this with Hallowed Sepulchre a bit, and I love that they're doing it for this as well. And I wish it was more fleshed out for Hallowed Sepulchre. Some of the rewards that you can purchase are molds to make swords, but these molds will offer better stats. So once you unlock all these new molds, the sword you make will be way better. You'll get more experience, you'll get more money, and you'll get more points afterwards after it's done. But you have to unlock these molds first. And it'll probably take you 2 to 3 to 4 swords to unlock each mold. And I think each sword is 8 to 12 minutes, I think I saw. No, wait. Maybe about 6 minutes. Well, whatever. It takes more than 5 minutes to make each sword. So anyways, I love that they're making these rewards where Hallowed Sepulchre has it, where you can get these rings, and you get a hammer, and you get all these different items that help the Hallowed Sepulchre experience feel more streamlined. So this is kind of similar in that sense. Next, we have the 8 cannonball mold. So this will probably be great for irons. I don't know, Heartless, how long you spend. Do you spend much time making actual cannonballs?
I don't, but I don't have AFK time really when I play. So I don't put my time towards cannonballs, but a lot of Iron Men do have a lot of AFK time, if they're working from home or whatever. So I know plenty of people that make cannonballs. So this will be a good upgrade. Do you have a go-to spot? Do you go to get cannonballs, or do you just kind of let them come in from wherever? You just kind of get a lot. In the end game, you get a bunch from Corp mostly.
Fair. Okay, cool.
He drops 2k at a time, and then I just use them for Wildy Slayer, and then certain tasks. Like when I was going, basically just Wildy Slayer and skipping. So I don't use them too much.
Right.
Next drops them, and then so does Nightmare. So you kind of chip away at them. They come from everywhere.
Normally, I guess if you're making them normally, you have a 4 cannonball mold. Now you can double it, so you'll make twice as many cannonballs. Yeah, it'll double your production speed. I think it's going to make it 8k an hour, because it was 4 before. I'm just pulling numbers off the top of my head. I can't actually remember, but yeah, I guess so. You're not going to save material. You still have to use 2 steel bars instead of 1. but it'll just be faster. So yeah, you can get more done if you're able to sit down and do it. The next item is the smithing catalyst. So this is an unstackable item, and you use it when creating bars at a furnace. And one part that it does is it halves the amount of coal that is required. And on top of that, you'll also gain double the experience. But once you do this, the catalyst will be consumed once you use it. So the idea is you might want to grind a bunch of these out if this is something you want to do.
Yeah, seems medium for sure. Like a lot of these rewards are kind of in that realm for me.
Yeah. Next one is Kovac's Grog. It's a brew made by Kovac himself, the hill giant you're helping. And it gives you a temporary boost of smithing, a temporary smithing boost of 4.
Great. Don't have to spicy stew. It's a really weird one for me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of weird, maybe you can help me figure out this one because it might be also weird. This is the Colossal Blade. It's a new weapon that came out. Originally, this was a cosmetic, but then they switched and wanted it to be actually useful. So now it is a sword that requires 60 attack to use. It has a special effect. Not quite a special attack, but a special effect. So I think this is just going to happen every time you attack. But the bigger the monster is, the higher max hit you have with this two-handed sword. And this goes up to a maximum of a 5x5 area. So the idea is that this sword will fit a niche, but it is comparable to the dragon scimitar. I don't know where this is going to come in handy.
Yeah, me neither. You'd have to run the numbers, but maybe it has some weird niche applications.
Yeah, this one's a weird one. I thought what they should have done is made this activity. Thought they should have made this whole activity free to play, and maybe this sword could be a free to play weapon, making it the new, I don't know, a new best in slot. Because
and that's what people said, but then you'd have to have the XP be really low for free to play, and then it would just kind of be dead content.
Right.
Like really adding activities to free to play is kind of dead content at this point. Like that Chemdozel mine, yeah, it was cool, don't get me wrong, but who does that? No one. Some random free-to-play people.
My ultimate Iron Man that doesn't train combat. Really?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot about how important that account was. But yeah, it was cool. The Encamdo Hammer was a really interesting item. A lot of people went for that, but then it's a one-and-done thing. It's not like something like Guardians of the Rift where it has a lasting effect on the game. This is just one of those updates. But then again, maybe they didn't spend much time doing it and it's just kind of lobbed into the game as an extra option. And if that's the case, then, then so be it. Not everything has to be hard hitting best in slot content.
Yeah, exactly. I think we just get sad when something's useless. Can we just talk about Chemdozel for a second? There's an area, it's like a maze you unlock, and it's like a thieving activity that's free to play.
Oh, it looks so cool, dude. Yeah.
It looks cool. Music's cool, but the best reward you can get from it is an adamant plate body, and it's also kind of rare, and it's kind of hard to do. And there's no uniques from it. I don't know why. I don't know what the point of it is, and I don't know who's doing it. Because you can just buy an adamant plate body if you're an iron, right?
Makes it garbage. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it. It's
a strange one.
Adding weird cosmetics is a good way to get people to do things. Especially PVM wise. So a reason people do so much Zulrah is not for the uniques, but it's for the mutagens, which are this really chase. It's just a cosmetic upgrade, but everyone wants them, especially when you start tobbing. People will do 10,000 kills to get their mutagen.
100%. I saw someone rocking it at Tob, and I was like, I want one. It looks sick.
Same with the dusts and the holy kits and the twisted kits from the two hard mode raids, so challenge modes and hard mode Tob. Those are really chased in-game items, and people will spend hundreds of hours doing the same content to get them. I think that's a really good way to cater towards those people who want to go hard.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think we need more content like that in the game, personally. These like chase untradables that could be like either grounded out or whatever. And then so next would have been a good example of that. Like they didn't have as many items, but maybe there were some items that were untradeable and made something look really sick, like Torva or whatever.
I totally agree. So we don't really have too much of that, but
anyways, this is not PVM. So but I'm not, the mini games is kind of all they've been doing recently. This one seems to be not as good as what were the last two? Obviously Guardians of Rift, but I think that's because rune crafting was in such a dire state, and it was actually, it's a really fun mini game and it has significant rewards. Smithing just kind of sucks as a skill. At least rune crafting, there were runes available to be there for you, so there was something. But rune crafting is, I mean, smithing is just kind of bad and related heavily to GP.
Yeah, smithing's a weird one.
And it's already so fast to train, like one of the faster skills to get to 99. It just costs money.
Yeah, and there is an AFK method, and it's hard. Yeah, how do you come up with a cool way to do it that's fun?
So what do we do? Just accept that some skills like it's so old, unless it got completely reworked from the ground up, it's just kind of going to suck.
I think we talked about it last week. When people talk about reworking skills, mining and smithing are the two big ones they point to.
Yeah, but mining, at least there's like resources that you're collecting, where smithing is, and it's slow. That's the problem with mining. About those like big pillars, like the main things that make a skill good or bad. At least mining has good rewards. Smithing doesn't. It just sucks. Like at 99, you're making a fucking
rune plate body.
Sick,
so. Yeah.
I think fundamentally that skill just needs reworked from the ground up for it to be relevant in the game, and it's not really. But at least this gives some people a new option.
Yeah, smithing has like grandfathered. I don't know if that's the right word to say it. It's
status, yeah.
Yeah, it's got cool lore when like smithing used to be the most useful item in the game because you couldn't get rune items from anywhere. You needed somebody to actually make it themselves. And there was the story of, I think her name is Blue Rose, this player who was the first one to get level 99, and basically she cornered the market. She was the only one who could sell full rune. And so she made mills and so much money in RuneScape Classic, so much so that there is rumors that people bound together and spent money so that Zezma could get 99 so that she didn't have a full monopoly of the rune market. That's cool. But that was like 22 years ago. That was like 25 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, it's different game these days.
Yeah, and it hasn't changed much since. So anyways, that's what it is. Now, we do have one more reward, which, saving the best for last. This is the one that I am probably actually going to go for. It looks pretty cool, but this is called the Smith's Uniform. So this is another skilling outfit. We got a bunch of these in game. And for the longest time, every skilling outfit just gave you, was it 0.5% more experience? And it wasn't really that great, but whatever. But now they started to deviate away from that, and the smithing outfit works a little bit different. So each piece will give you a 20% chance to reduce your anvil smithing time by 1 tick. And when you have the full outfit, it will 100% reduce this time. And basically, this will make you smith items between 15 to 20% faster.
Yeah, it's a good outfit.
Mm-hmm. And it will also give you a boost to your commission when you make swords for the Giant Foundry. So that's going to be quite cool indeed. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is someone at Jagex HQ must be listening to the podcast because they stole your idea, Heartless. They are doing a weapon design competition.
Those bastards.
And they're asking people to send in their designs for new weapons that you would like to see giants wielding when they take on the world, whatever that means.
I mean, but they're not getting 25 mil if they win that one.
No. The winner will receive 12 months of membership, and everyone else
probably
receives
3 years late though.
Everyone else receives 3 months membership.
Cool, good for Jagex. Yeah, competitions are a good way to see like what players like use the creativity of your player base.
It is, yeah. We've got some people come up with really great ideas. Some not so much.
We do need to get that episode out sometime.
Yeah, that's right. We're talking about it. It's hard to find a schedule to sit down because we don't want to not record a weekly episode because we're recording this instead. So yeah, we talked about maybe spending half an hour a couple times a week doing the bonus episode and getting it out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, great stuff. So anyways, there's the news. It's overall pretty good. Of course, I gotta play a snippet from the new track because it's pretty good. We got one new music track, but one thing Jagex is pretty consistent with is their music is always so great. I don't know how they do it. So this is this is a song. It's called The Foundry. You unlock it. There we go. Pretty good tune. And this one is we'll play the this is the song of the week. We're not gonna play the whole thing. We'll play it at the end though. But this is by Grace Doxy, and it's a new name. I've not heard this person compose a song before, but very great song. Yeah, cool stuff. I don't know how Jagex does it. If there's one thing they are consistently amazing at, it's pumping out music. So
yeah, they have some great tunes.
They really do. Okay, so that's your news of the week. Overall, it's decent. It's pretty good. The next piece of news, it is semi-related when it comes to RuneScape. So let me quickly play this clip here. This is taken off a Twitch stream that happened earlier this week.
Crossover that's about to happen, that is level 99 in their scale. Ladies and gentlemen, the world premiere announcement of the RuneScape crossover for Smite.
This is just music. We can skip it. It's going to replay it again. So that was taken off. I think it was the OTK stream, some event. But have you played the game Smite? I know you're a big League of Legends player, but have you played Smite?
Yeah, it's shitty League of Legends.
Coming out, guns blazing.
And League of Legends people would say that League of Legends is shitty Dota, but yeah, they're all MOBAs.
Yeah,
I've played it once. I didn't like it.
No, fair enough. Yeah, Smite is a MOBA game, and they are doing a crossover with RuneScape. Basically, I think they're going to get a skin that's RuneScape related, or they might even get a new character, but probably not. Smite is like a third-person MOBA. I've played it. It's not bad. I liked it. It's just I preferred League. I was probably used to League because in Smite, it's not like a bird's eye view where you can move them with your mouse. It's like controller based, or you use your keyboard and you walk around. But yeah, they're doing this crossover, which I thought was pretty crazy. Did not expect that. So very cool stuff. That's happening in November. I'm curious to see what it's going to be.
There's a high chance it's Neve. Let's be honest.
Could be. The thing with Smite is all the characters are gods, and right now they use, I was gonna say real world gods. Yeah, I guess real world gods. So gods that exist in different religions. They haven't really branched off into video games or fantasy or anything like that. So probably not Zamrock being added into the game, but that'd be cool. But yeah, there we go. There's what we used to call that community chatter whenever it wasn't a dev blog, but now it's just part of the news. So there it is. All right. Anything else before we take a quick break?
Nope.
We're going to take a quick little break and head on over to the Grand Exchange where we can tell you how you can support the show and tell you about some of the other people who support the show. But first things first, if you do want to support the show, but you don't want to sign up for Patreon or anything like that, something that does help is leaving us a review or rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or if your third-party app offers that, it'll help it a lot if you leave us a review. But we do have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/The Wilderness Podcast. And our top tier supporters get a shout out every single episode. So thank you to Bronze Yon, Yulfi Ferrick, Strosity, Oh My Lord, P Jackals, Mallard, Spleemo, Szechuan, and Yay Fiber. But we have a lot of other people who do support the show on Patreon. So thank you guys all so much. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. But of course, if you don't like Patreon, but you still want to support monetarily, another way you can do that is by heading on over to buymeacoffee.com/dills, where you can make a one-time donation and disguise of a virtual coffee. It does probably purchase me an actual coffee because coffee is an important commodity these days. But hey, so thank you to 2JZ Soup, Beefy Click, and Hugh Janez for buying me coffee this week. Really, really do appreciate it. And finally, the third way you can support. If you are on Discord, you can boost our server, or if you have Discord Nitro, you can toss some of your monthly boosts to the Wilderness podcast server. So thank you to Twisted Soul, Hoyt, Chick, and Battlestabs for boosting the Discord server, which has given us the unique URL of discord.gg/the wilderness. So if you want to hang out in Discord, you can go on over there as well. Can you guys hear my cat? He's being so freaking annoying right now. Okay, let's get back to the rest of the show. Thank you guys to everyone. Thank you to every single person who listens to the show, and to all the people who support as well. It means a lot. Okay, let's get into the episode. Heartless, should we let everyone know that you're leaving and not going on a dirt bike ride this time?
Yeah, I actually just have to go pick up my girlfriend. So, yeah, no dirt biking for me this time. Duty calls. So I will let Dills take on the final questions, and I will see everyone next week.
All right, see ya, Heartless.
Take care.
We've been able to be more consistent with our recordings. In the past, we've been kind of all over the place because it was hard to get a consistent schedule, but we have this short window in the evening. We're not even in the same time zone. He's 3 hours behind. So we have this short window where I just put my kid to sleep and then so I have time in the evening, but then he has things to do because it's not even dinner. I've already had dinner. He hasn't. So, but now that he's gone, do I normally go back and play some lo-fi hip hop lo-fi? I caught some shit. Some people wrote in, said, hey, Dills, you're really pronouncing it lo-fi. It's lo-fi. And you know what? I was prepared for that. I knew that was coming. I used to say lo-fi, but I went to college for like audio broadcasting, and I knew someone there. He started running the radio station that I worked at, but he used to be, well, I guess he still was an audio engineer, and I called it lo-fi once when he was around, and there was also, he had this other person and one of his buddies that was a jazz musician, but also like a radio host. And I caught so much flack for calling it lo-fi. And they were like, no, it's lo-fi. And I was like, that seems weird. But I was like, you know what? I trust this guy. But then of course I'm saying it, and now people are like, Dills, you're an idiot. It's lo-fi. I don't think anyone knows. I think it's one of those GIF versus GIF, right? There's that ongoing debate, and everyone says it's GIF. But then the guy who created GIFs says it's GIF. Who knows? No one really knows. So we won't play the music. We're not going to do that. We're not going to make that mistake twice. We got some calls though. So let's get into those calls and let other people talk, because I can't do it. Last week I asked everyone, send in your story that revolves scamming. Most of us have been scammed at some time, but hey, if you don't have a story where you were the victim, but you were the scammer in that story, there's no judgment. This is a judgment-free zone. We've all done things. We've been playing this game for years. We're all pretty dumb at some point. So we've all done something stupid. So yeah, I wanted to hear it, send it in. So we did get some callers. So let's hop into those calls. First up is Beefy Click. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Cody, a.k.a. Beefy Click. I have a funny story for you guys about me being scammed, and I deserved it 110%, but my buddy did not. I was like 12 years old, and I decided I'm not good at this game. I'm going to pay for a power leveling service where they get onto your account and level you up, basically. And you pay real world money for it. That is why I deserve this. But I was very impatient. So I get on the forum, hey guys, why are y'all taking so long, playing the game for me? And support, got on the forum. And support was not support. It was a scammer. oh, we're very sorry, we're taking so long. What is your login and password? We're going to gift you some dragon claws. And I was like, sweet. And they were like, and on top of that, we're going to give your buddy dragon claws. So I asked my buddy, I'm like, hey, man, I can get you some dragon claws. What's your login and password? So he shoots it to me, and I shoot it to these random people. And before you know it, we were both sitting at Castle Wars with an empty bank. Be careful, guys.
Beefy, thank you so much for sending in that word of advice. That is so funny. Oh man, do I feel that is a deep scam. So not only you had customer service. No, most people get scammed in game, but you were able to get scammed out of game. And your friend, who was just like promised free stuff, unfortunately was a victim as well. So that is very, very rough. It reminds me of my days of trying to illegally acquire things. And I remember when I first discovered botting in RuneScape. So I was very young. The first time I discovered botting was actually through LimeWire. LimeWire, a lot of us know what LimeWire is, but you would use it to download anything. It was like a peer-to-peer sharing program or something like that. It was like torrenting before torrenting was popular, or maybe it didn't even exist at the time, but you would download music, you could download movies, you could really download anything, but you could often download viruses. And most people use it for music and movies, and then porn. And porn's like the most dangerous one of them all, because that's like, it's already pretty sketch. Anyways, whatever. So it ruined a lot of computers. A lot of viruses were had. And I figured out that there were botting clients on LimeWire, and I figured out that there was this wood cutting bot, and I would turn it on and it would search for a tree and it would click it. And it actually worked, but it sucked. It often would not be able to find any trees, even though the trees were right there. And it was great at like clicking one tree. I mean, you'd fill up your inventory and then what? You saw it didn't really do anything. But surprisingly enough, it did not destroy my computer. But that's where I discovered it. And then down the road, I figured out you could, what was it? It was like OS Buddy, which was like the old RuneLite before RuneLite was a thing. It was kind of sketch because in order to get a lot of the good features on OS Buddy, you had to pay $2 a month. And I did it for a while. Lots of people did it. And then RuneLite came out, offered everything for free. RuneLite was like, man, RuneLite was a game changer. I was paying $2 a month for a long time. But OS Buddy used to be a botting client called like PowerBot or something. And I remember finding out about that website and I was like, I want to level fletching or something. I can't remember what happened, but I bought a script and I thought it was going to be a program like the first time I did it. And I tried running it and nothing happened. I didn't know what to, I don't even remember exactly what I downloaded, but you needed to like do something with it. So either you had to download some new client and run the script through it, or you had to do something. I was too dumb to figure it out. So I just spent like $20 or whatever it was on this like botting service thing, and then it was never able to use it. But yeah, that sucks. Leveling. I mean, leveling services have always been a thing. It's funny. RuneScape makes so many jobs when it comes to like black market stuff. Beefy Click, thank you so much for sending that in. I'm terribly sorry to hear you never got your D-claws, and I'm sure your buddy was happy that all worked out. But hey, they dropped you off at Castle Wars so you guys could have some fun afterwards and box each other. Okay, next up, we got a call in from Flarch King. Let's hear what he has to say when it comes to scamming.
Hey, Dills, Heartless, Flarch King here. I love what you guys are doing. Podcast is awesome. Help reignite my OSRS addiction. It makes my commute so much more enjoyable. So thank you guys for what you do. Wanted to call in about this week's question regarding scamming. So full disclosure, this was a really shit thing to do, but a buddy of mine and I started up OSRS private server around 05, 06 because we had gotten bored of OSRS. The server that we opened up to the internet opened up like, I guess 25 to 50 people at a time were connected. So it was a lot more than we expected. People started PMing us and offering us GP and items and accounts for mod status in the game, or items or unlocks in our private server. So we had the bright idea to take this stuff from these people, OSRS trades and accounts and such, close the server down after about 2 weeks, reopen another one after rebranding. Looking back on it now, I feel horrible about it. But realistically, it doesn't benefit me at all. For both of us, it was accounts that we don't have anymore. So hopefully the people got them back through account recovery. And as for the items, they all got converted to RS3 because of the time frame. So hopefully no harm, no foul. But just thought I'd share. Hope you guys get a kick out of that.
Oh, Flarge King, thank you so much for calling in. What a wild time it was those years ago. Private servers were insane. I loved when I discovered Moparscape. I loved Moparscape. For people who don't know, I never learned the back end of this stuff, but I was very young, and you can go to Moparscape, and it would have a list of different servers that were up, and these were all like RuneScape servers that somebody had, tweaked and fucked around with. And it was a private server. What basically means is like the game was completely broken. It was like leagues, but times a million bajillion. And you never really had to make an account. So I could just type in Dills in the username, and I would type in the password, and boom, the account got created instantly. Very easy to jump into an account. And then you could, every server was a little bit different. So some of them you could set your stats to whatever you want. Some of them you would get unlimited money, and some of them PvP was everywhere. And some of them were just RuneScape, but faster experience rates. And so the private servers were all over the place. And even when RuneScape, when RuneScape took out PKing and all that stuff, I remember a private server came out, which was basically RuneScape, had all the same stuff, but everything was a little bit faster because of how bad the grind actually is. And to do that on starting all over again is pretty rough. But they did it as a way so you could feel like you're playing the classic game and go out and PKing and all that stuff. But I love private servers for PKing and all that stuff as well. And that's so funny because I remember there would be a few servers that I just really liked, and I would constantly go on them, and you would see the mods, and the mods acted like they were kings, and we kind of felt like they were kings. We would see them, and you're just like, bro, there were always these weird items that were like the party hats. Only some people could get them, and they could give them out to other people. So it could be like it's like a black party hat or a rainbow party hat, like something that was a little bit different. And the mods would have that, and sometimes they would give it away and all that stuff. Anyways, that is wild. Thank you so much for sharing that. You know what? You may have prevented people from getting sucked in to old school RuneScape. So I'm sure they may thank you, Yeah, guys, thank you so much for calling in this week. And guys, if you want to call in for a previous episode, you can always call in and leave a story for a past question. We will still play it. Always love to hear them. I know not everyone's going to be listening to this as soon as it releases, and we've got so it's quite all right to call in some odd episodes later. But that being said, we have to lead to a question of the week for episode 212, and I think I have to put out there, what is your favorite old school RuneScape music track, and why is it your favorite? It could be one of your favorites. I know it's so hard to nail down what favorites are for people. We mentioned earlier, there are so many good old school RuneScape songs. One of my forever favorites, the first one that always comes to mind, this song is Dark. I used to love The Wilderness. I mean, is that not obvious enough, the name of the podcast and stuff? But The Wilderness will forever be one of my favorite spots. I know some people don't like it, but when I was a kid, it invoked so many strong feelings. Everything from me being upset because I died and lost something, or PKing someone and being so excited, or being scared. I have so many memories of being scared, shaky, because I'm in the wilderness and not sure what's going to happen. But this brings me back to being at the library, the public library, playing old school RuneScape with my brother and a friend, and we took up the 3 of the 4 computers playing RuneScape, and we would all spend an hour gearing up and going into the wilderness. We had a friend who would full mithril for us, and my brother Deegan would probably be fishing, some food for everyone, and then I was the woodcutter, but we were too young to realize there was nothing I could do with my woodcutting skill at the time. I followed Deegan around with logs and set fires for him to cook his lobsters at. Not only is this an awesome song, though, it brings me back to just wandering the wilderness. It's a great song. And that's this game. RuneScape has won Guinness Awards or Guinness World Records for having so many music tracks. Because like old school RuneScape alone has 715 unique songs. And they're not just like unique songs either. They are full on, they're not just loops, right? This whole song's been changing and there's still another minute to go. But there are so many great songs. Let's go to some more recent songs. This song is so good. This is The Fat Lady Sings from Theater of Blood, the final boss, Lady Verzik. The song's called The Fat Lady Sings. And this is the only tune to actually have a voice or vocal. There's no real singing. Just the way the music files are, it doesn't allow for actual singing or lyrics. I had it broken down. I didn't quite understand. There's some trickery done to do this song. But this is a fantastic tune. This is one of the more recent ones. That's what I'm saying. They've been killing it for decades, like literally decades. Good song. And of course, let's finish it here with Coil, because this is another great tune. I remember when I used to work construction. I worked construction for a while. I used to just listen to this song while I worked. It was so good. And this was done by Mod Ash, one of the top-notch developers of this game. So good. Every song is a really great song. So guys, send in what your favorite songs are, or what song comes to mind when I say pitch a song, and tell me why. Tell me what it is about it, and we'll play this. I'll play the song as well underneath it, so don't feel like you have to figure out a way to play it over the speakers or anything. But just tell me, maybe play the song and picture yourself what's happening. Like, let's play a game right now. Maybe this should be this should be the question of the week right here. Now I'm gonna play a song. I want everyone to like close their eyes, or if you're driving, don't close your eyes. Please keep your eyes open. But I want you to, when I play the song, I want you to picture something and just like, you can tell me what you're picturing. Like, what are you picturing right now? What's your character doing? Like, how old are you? What's your character wearing? Right? God. Brings me back to being a kid, being at my grandparents' house. So many songs. I'll walk around, I'll just play the music in this game, and there's so many songs that will just bring me to a place in my life when I was a kid. So many songs. It's so special. Like, sorry, I'm gonna end this soon, I promise. I'm not just gonna keep going. But God, I remember, like, I hear this song and I like picture myself being a kid at my grandparents' house. I spent a lot of time at my grandparents over the summers. But I'd be out there mining in the mining pits and then going to the furnace. Spent a lot of time just going back and forth. Anyways. I feel like every week we could do a question of the week that had some tie to music. Maybe we will. But anyways, yeah, question of the week. Tell me about a song and tell me what's so special about it. Guys, thank you so much for listening this week. I really do appreciate it. We're going to be having a bonus episode coming out as soon as we can get together. I think we mentioned that we're going to slowly chip away at it because our schedules don't always line up. I got to do this dad thing every now and then, and it's kind of, I don't know. It kind of keeps me busy, but yeah, we'll have a bonus content coming out. Someone's going to win 25 mil and someone's going to win some bonds, or some people are. So that's quite exciting. Guys, if you want to call in about your question of the week, what you can do is go into the description. You'll see a SpeakPipe link. It will bring you to a private server that you will have to log in with your RuneScape account. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's a SpeakPipe link. It will bring you to an app that allow you to record it right off your phone or your computer. And I don't think you need to make any sort of, you don't have to make an account or anything. So call in for the question. But hey, if you want to join our in-game clan and hang out, I always tell people I recommend being a part of a clan. It doesn't have to be ours. Just find a clan because you'll have a good time. Even if you're just lurking and watching people. And if you've had some bad experiences with clans, you got to find your tribe. I played D&D with a bunch of different groups, and I played D&D with groups of my own friends that I didn't have fun. And it just wasn't the group for me. But I'd played Dungeons and Dragons with some groups that have been a lot of fun. You just got to find your tribe. Clans are the same thing. I've been a part of clans that sucked. You just got to find the right one for you. If you want to join our Discord, it's discord.gg/thewilderness. Our email is thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com. And you don't need to call in for the question of the week. You can write in as well. Message me on Discord. Write an email. Send me a message on Twitter, even @thewildernessrs. Don't matter. I've been streaming a little bit more now that this kiddo is on an actual schedule. So if you want to come hang out on stream, I tend to stream at like between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern time. Not that long. I'm not streaming from 7 p.m. till 11, but I'll be streaming in between that time on occasions, a few times a week. I do that. I've been running the Inferno and trying out new content, but feel free to come and hang out. It's twitch.tv/thedills. And I think that's about it. Yeah. We've had a lot of songs play this week, but of course, the song of the week is going to be The Foundry. And we mentioned it off the top, unlocked during the Giant Foundry activity. So thanks so much, guys, for listening. And we will see you on the next episode, on episode 213. These episodes are flying by. God, remember when we had the 200 spectacular? Can't believe that was like months ago. Holy shit. All right, guys. Yeah, we'll talk soon.